Welcome back, JesseMc here. It's been a while since we made a knife on the channel. So today we're going to be making a small everyday carry knife. Let's get to it. Alright, so we got the blade completely profiled. Now we're going to go ahead and lay out all the pinholes and a couple extra holes to lighten the weight. And so the epoxy can have a place to go completely through the blade and set to itself. Alright, so we got the blade flattened, profiled, all the holes drilled for the pins and for the epoxy to go through. So now what we're going to do is mark the edge with that blue layout fluid again and mark our center lines. Then we're going to go ahead and grind in our bevels, file in a little choil and some jimping on the spine for some grip. So let's get to that. Alright, now all that's pretty self-explanatory. Now that I got my center line marked, I want to talk about grinding a little bit. I'm about 1.5 years in and about 30 knives done. I found that going in at about a 45 all the way to that center point on both sides, make sure that your edge is straight to with your blade. And then after that, you can go in and start doing your full flat grind or whatever else grind you got going on. We started with a 60 grit to get all of that material off, and now that we're happy with the flats, I'm going to hop to a 220 grit and take most of those scratches out. Alright, so we left off with 220 on the belt sander. Now we're gonna hop on 220 by hand and take out any little imperfections that might still be in here. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then we're gonna sand the spine and the blade, just a couple other little spots before we go to heat treat. Alright, so if you notice, I hit that 220 with this acrylic block here. It's a little bit wider, so I know that I'm gonna get all those little lumps and stuff out and make sure that's nice and flat. Now that I'm happy with that, I'm gonna take a smaller stick. It's still hard, but it's a lot smaller to get in the 320 before we go to heat treat. Now that we have the knife in the oven, we're gonna start working on the handle material. We're gonna make sure that the bottoms are flat, the maiden surfaces are flat, and we're gonna get it all glued up. Now that we got the handle glued up and the knife out of the oven, we're gonna start hand sanding. We're gonna start with 320, work our way up to 400 and then 600. Since this is the longest part of the process, we're gonna get straight to it. Alright, now that we got the blade all finished up, we're gonna start working on the handle material. It's mainly glued up, we just gotta clean it all up so we can drill all the holes. And then we're gonna grind and sand the tops where we can't get to after glue up. have it all finished, sharpened. I gotta make a sheath for it, but that'll come at a later time. If you like content like this, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe. See you on the next one.